Ever found yourself in this situation? A friendly smile, a gaze that lingers just a tad longer than usual, making you think you're on the brink of a budding romance. And then, when you act on that signal, things don't quite unfold as you'd hoped. If you've been there, know that you're in good company. Many of us have misread these cues and wondered where our interpretation went awry. But worry not, this journey of discovery is all part of learning the art of attraction. Welcome to Charm Blueprint, where we dive into the secrets of relationships, seduction, and self-improvement. Today, we're tackling the 10 common mistakes we make when interpreting attraction signals. Why does this matter? Because recognizing these blunders can be your key to sidestepping a host of awkward moments and misunderstandings we'd all rather avoid. The good news is, with a bit of guidance and an eye for detail, these missteps can become a thing of the past. So, I invite you to stick with me for the next few minutes. Let's pinpoint where we might be misreading cues, and more importantly, learn how to do better. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button to help us keep sharing valuable content like this. Ready? Let's go! 1. Mistaking politeness for flirting. In trying to decode attraction signals, it's common to confuse politeness with flirting. A friendly smile or engaging conversation often is just expressions of kindness, with no romantic intentions behind them. This distinction is crucial to avoid misunderstandings that can lead to uncomfortable situations. A valuable tip to avoid misreading these interactions is to observe the person's behavior with others around them. If they extend the same level of attention and kindness to everyone, it's likely they're just being sociable and polite, not signaling romantic interest. This awareness helps us better navigate social interactions, recognizing politeness for what it truly is, rather than a covert sign of flirting. 2. Overvaluing eye contact. Eye contact is often interpreted as a clear sign of interest. However, it's important to remember that locking eyes with someone can have various motivations. It might be a gesture of politeness, a way to show attention during a conversation, or even someone getting lost in their thoughts while looking in your direction. It's not uncommon to overestimate this gesture, attributing to it a romantic meaning that may not exist. To avoid this trap, it's essential to look for other signs that may indicate genuine interest. Body language, such as leaning towards you, mirroring your gestures, or genuine smiles during the interaction, can provide clearer indications that the eye contact is part of flirting and not just courtesy or distraction. Therefore, before concluding there's romantic interest based solely on eye contact, consider the overall interaction. This will give you a clearer understanding of the person's intentions, helping to distinguish between a simple polite gesture and a real sign of attraction. 3. Interpreting accidental touch as intentional. It's easy to read any physical contact as a sign of flirting, but it's crucial to recognize that not every touch carries a romantic intention. Sometimes a touch is just a touch without any underlying subtext or second intentions. To discern the nature of a touch, pay attention to the context in which it occurs and how frequently it happens. An accidental touch in a crowded area is entirely different from a light, repeated touch during a calm conversation. The context helps us understand if physical contact might be meaningful or merely circumstantial. So, before reading any touch as flirting, assess the circumstances and see if the pattern repeats in a significant way. This can provide valuable clues about the true intentions behind the gesture, helping to avoid misinterpretations. 4. Reading too much into text messages. Misinterpretations of text messages are common when trying to decipher signs of romantic interest. Emojis, exclamation points, and quick responses are often seen as evidence of flirting, when, in fact, they might be nothing more than personal communication habits. These forms of communication vary greatly from person to person and can be habitual without any particular intention behind their use. To avoid misunderstandings, it's crucial to look beyond the surface of these messages. The presence of emojis or quick responses may be encouraging, but they're not reliable indicators of romantic interest. The context in which these elements are used and consistency with the person's previous behavior can offer more accurate clues about their true intentions. Thus, when analyzing text messages for signs of attraction, consider both the content and the form. Messages that contain clear statements of interest, invitations for dates, or significant personal questions carry much more weight in indicating attraction than the mere frequent use of emojis or immediate replies. Assessing the whole interaction is essential for a correct interpretation. 5. Believing attention is exclusive. Receiving someone's attention can be flattering and sometimes interpreted as a sign of special interest. However, it's important to remember that the attention given to you may not be exclusive or indicative of romantic feelings. Some people are naturally more attentive or sociable, spreading their attention generously among various individuals without intending to flirt or desire intimacy. Reading this attention as a specific sign of attraction towards you can lead to unnecessary misunderstandings. To better understand the situation, observe carefully how the person interacts with others around them. If they offer the same level of attention and care to other people, this might indicate that their behavior is part of their personality and not a sign of exclusive romantic interest. This step is crucial to distinguish between common courtesy and personal interest. 6. Confusing friendly interest with romantic. Finding out you and someone share common interests or hobbies can be exciting and often seems like fertile ground for more than just friendship. However, it's vital to recognize that these connections on their own do not ensure the presence of romantic attraction. Many deep and meaningful relationships are built on shared interests, acting as the glue that bonds people in lasting friendships, not necessarily in romance. To discern between friendly and romantic interest, look beyond the surface of shared hobby-based interactions. Ask yourself about the nature of the conversations and meetings. Are they limited to discussions about mutual interests, or is there an effort to explore more personal aspects of each other's lives? 7. Assuming kindness is romantic advance. Receiving a special favor or a gift from someone can warm the heart and at times be interpreted as a romantic advance. However, it's essential to remember that such acts of kindness often reflect just the person's goodness or friendship without any romantic intentions underneath. These actions can be simple manifestations of care and support, common among friends who value reciprocity and each other's well-being. To avoid misinterpreting these kindnesses as signs of romantic interest, it's important to reflect on the history and nature of the relationship you have with this person. If such gestures are common within the context of your friendship, and if they extend them equally to other friends, they are likely just expressions of their friendly and generous personality. 8. Interpreting nervousness as a sign of attraction. Nervousness is a complex emotional state, influenced by a variety of factors, and is not exclusively an indicator of romantic interest. People can feel anxious for numerous reasons, from personal insecurities to stressful situations in their lives, which have no direct relation to the person in front of them. To better understand the nature of someone's nervousness, observe how that person behaves in different contexts. If they show signs of nervousness only in your presence, this might indicate a level of interest or discomfort, specifically with you. On the other hand, if you notice that they act similarly in various situations or in the company of other people, it's likely that their nervous behavior is part of their overall personality or a response to something unrelated to you. 9. Assuming availability is a sign. When someone seems always available to chat or meet up, it can be tempting to interpret this readiness as a sign of romantic interest. However, constant availability can be influenced by many factors that have nothing to do with the desire to establish a romantic bond. Some people might simply have more free time or a particularly sociable nature that leads them to seize any opportunity to socialize, regardless of romantic interests. To avoid jumping to conclusions, it's important to consider other explanations for someone's availability. A person might value friendship and human connection in general, showing themselves to be open and accessible to everyone in their social circle. This friendly and inclusive behavior is a valuable trait, but not necessarily an indicator of romantic attraction. 10. Ignoring social or cultural context. The interpretation of attraction signals can be significantly influenced by social and cultural context. What in one culture might be seen as a clear indication of romantic interest, in another might be just a standard form of friendly interaction. Or depending on the social context of that interaction, it might mean just being polite. Maybe a girl is being kind to you simply to create a good work environment, and not because she wants to go out with you. This diversity in expressing attraction underscores the importance of considering the social and cultural context when trying to decipher the signals someone sends us. Without this consideration, it's easy to misread benign gestures as flirting, leading to misunderstandings and potential embarrassing situations. That's it, folks. Remember that communication and context are super important, especially when we're talking about more casual places like work or on the street. But of course, if you're at a bar or a party, the signals can be quite different because those places already have a more flirtatious vibe. So, if you're interested in a woman you see in your everyday life, a coworker, friend, or neighbor, these tips are valuable so you don't misinterpret things. Knowing when to act is also knowing when not to act. Ever found yourself making these mistakes? Relax, we've all been there at one time or another. After all, you only score if you're in the game. So understand that the idea of this video isn't to keep you from acting. It's all about understanding the situation better to know the right time and way to approach.